People whose homes have dog/cat doors, have wild animals ever entered your pet doors, and what happened when that occurred? I lived in an apartment that backed up to an open field for a while and had a real raccoon issue. Once they figured out that the cat door was occasionally open after I left it open one night when was out late, they would show up in a gang of 5 to 7 every night and bang in the slider and try it get in. TH apartment was a studio with a slightly lofted bedroom, and one evening was sitting on the couch working and saw what thought was my cat wander down into the living room and hop up onto the couch next to me. I reached out to give her a scratch and noticed in my periphery that her body language was off. That was when I turned to look at her and realized it was a raccoon. I screamed and leapt off the couch. The raccoon made a quick exit back out the cat door. My cat slept through the whole exchange. Not a dog door. If I leave the back door open, one of our turkeys walks in, looks around, chirping, then just as casual leaves. If I don't secure the door, the sheep butts it open, runs around the kitchen island baaing loudly, then runs out. My friend lives in the country and has a massive dog door. She's gotten raccoons and fox inside the house before. Luckily the multiple dogs and cats she has generally run them out pretty quickly. Not quite a pet door situation, but we lived close to the national park in Nairobi. On several occasions monkeys would come into the house through the windows. They'd raid the pantry and make a mess of it. Once my husband was home alone. He heard a noise downstairs and as he went to investigate met a monkey coming back upstairs. They both froze. Then he backed up back into the bedroom and the monkey made its way back out through our child's bedroom window. It was quite a hoot. I don't have any pets currently but grew up with cats. My wife and I lived in a small house with a garden in front. It's in a nice small community within the town center but away from the main road. In the summer we keep the door open. This one day, my wife and I are playing a board game that had just been delivered when I see something black from the corner of my eye, just behind my wife. I think, oh, it's just my cat, and carry on playing. My wife noticed I got briefly distracted and asks me what's wrong. As I'm preparing to tell her I saw my cat passing behind her, it clicks that we don't have any cats. Her eyes widen and she shouts, "My bacon." Sure enough, the neighbor's cat's in the kitchen munching on her breakfast leftovers. I was sleeping on a friend's sofa in London while we were on a fairly long-term job. A month or so in, I wake up and there's just a squirrel on the other chair in the living room. I'm like, "Guys, are you having me on?" And from upstairs I hear them say, "WTF are you talking about? Do you have a pet squirrel? How have you hidden this from me? Why are you talking about squirrels?" It's a duplex thing where you go up some steps outside to the front door, then the living room is back on the ground floor. The only way into the living room is down the stairs or big sliding patio doors that were shut. This squirrel has presumably climbed the outside of the front of the house, gone through the kitchen window, wandered around and come downstairs and then sat in the living room wondering what to do. It also just left of its own accord. Australian here. About 10 years ago I saw a snake's tail disappearing into a cupboard. A call to the local wildlife rescue, who then transferred the call to the fire brigade, a HAZMAT, hazardous materials, unit turned up and extricated the snake from its hidey hole. It turned out to be an eastern brown snake, the second most venomous snake in the world according to Google. There was a lot of construction nearby turning farmland into industrial complexes. I'd say it was disturbed and scared out from its usual haunts. Edit, added an S in a word, not a SSSSS, I've had enough snakes in the house, thank you. We had a cat door that we left available for use during a 10-day vacation. When we returned we found that raccoons had made multiple trips into the home, leaving multiple paths of prints over a wide variety of surfaces. They had ransacked our pantry and opened every box and pack of graham crackers. There were 2 boxes in separate cabinets. They enjoyed their snack in the kitchen and the family room, and left most everything else uneaten, albeit destroyed due to their attempts to locate the graham crackers. We've had to remove our cat window recently because our new kitten had started bringing her live catches into the home, and leaving them, very much alive, to play with later. Primarily chipmunks, moles, and mice. So my very sweet and timid kitty had her own cat door, and she liked to go out and hang out in the limbs of the big old tree in our backyard. That is, until a big mean yellow tomcat moved in across the street and started stalking her like a thug. He made it his life mission to make her miserable, so she always hung out within darting distance of the safety of her cat door. Well, one night in the middle of the night I was rudely awakened by an awful caterwauling coming from inside the house. I leapt out of bed and found it was that tomcat who had followed her inside, going through the cat door, and was now terrorizing her inside her own home. Ah, hell no. This was not going to happen to my sweet little kitty. I started banging and clashing and screaming at him, chasing him round and round the house through room after room, with him in an absolute panic in a terrorized scramble, trying desperately to remember how the hell to escape through the cat door whose location he only vaguely remembered now that he was in the grip of the fear of dying. He darted under the guest bed which was in the room where the cat door was located. Now that I at least had him cornered, I closed the interior door to that room, and opened the door that led outside, and invited him to leave. He would not move. I got a flashlight and a broom to flush him out, but on my hands and knees I found that he had crawled up into the metal wiring on the bottom of the box spring. And there he was stuck. Completely at my mercy. Unable to move more than a whisker. He was shaking in fear. I spoke to him calmly, promised I would not wring his neck, and told him I would help him escape. Well, that was easier said than done. I ended up dragging the mattress off the bed, and then flipping the box spring up so I could access the stuck cat better. No amount of pushing or pulling or prodding could dislodge him from his predicament. It was quite a pickle. In the end, I retrieved the wire cutters from the basement and clipped several of the thick black S-shaped wires that entrapped him, essentially ruining the box spring. But he darted out that open door like the proverbial greased lightning, leaving at least one of his 9 lives behind. He continued to terrorize my poor kitty every chance he got, but he never again came in that cat door. Both me and my cat heaved a sigh of relief when he and his people moved away a year or so later and peace once again reigned in the neighborhood. They have certainly tried, but we have a pet door that only unlocks when the RFID chip on our cat's tag is very close. We also programmed it to not let the cat out after 8 p.m. Having said that, one of my cats brought in a respectably sized black bird of some kind, very much alive. It ended up at a window above the kitchen counter, with the cat sitting right next to it. I had to get a chair to get onto the counter, then shove a broom handle under the bird so it would perch on the broom, then walk backward off the counter to the chair to the floor, then out the back door to let it fly away. Oh, and to keep the bird calm, I locked eyes with it while doing all that. Once the bird flew away, my cat was quite offended all day. I grew up in a house on a lake with a cat door. One time I was in my room gaming and I heard this loud bang quack wait a few seconds bang quack wait a few seconds. Kept repeating. I walked out and one of our cats had caught a fully grown mallard duck and was trying to bring it through the cat door sideways. A family in England had a little boy who used to tell his mother that he had a fox friend that would come sleep with him at night. They didn't believe him, but the boy was insistent. Finally they put up cameras. Sure enough, a little fox would come in the cat door, eat the cat food, then trot upstairs to the boy's room and curl up on the end of the bed for a nap. It would stay a few hours, then trot back outside. They nailed the cat door shut. They posted the video of the fox going through the house on Reddit. Not sure where. Yes. On several occasions. None of them wanted to be indoors, but my cat had other ideas. She got a particular kick out of releasing live squirrels in the kitchen and watching us run around trying to catch them. Kind of similar, I guess. I once walked into the kitchen and noticed that our horse had gotten inside. He had opened a cupboard in the mudroom and was happily munching away on some chaff we had stored there. The pull-down handle to the back door was covered in horse slobber, as was the cupboard door handle. Cheeky bugger. Also, one of our cats has brought in the odd snake. They are very much alive when she deposits them inside the house. Luckily, she usually chooses to leave them in the bath for some reason. We don't have cat doors, but in the summer we have our doors open many days because of all the work we are doing, constant key going inside and out. One day we found raccoon prints on the hardwood floor. The little guy just walked inside in the middle of our busy work and no one noticed. He walked in, took a nice stroll around the main floor, and walked back out. My stepmother also once walked downstairs and saw a raccoon sitting on its butt like a human just chilling on a chair. Another day, my stepmother went into my bedroom and saw a stray cat just laying on my bed. Just came inside and acted like the house was his, as cats are wont to do, I suppose. A squirrel came in through my parents' cat flap. They don't have a cat but didn't replace the door when they bought the house. I remember walking into the kitchen and having a staring match with this squirrel until he decided he'd had enough and left the way he'd come in. Not very exciting, but still. Oh boy, this is a fun one. I love telling this story. So I had just left the house to grab something from the store when my wife calls me. She is frantic. Dexter, hurry. Get back now. Help. Dexter was our older dog who had been having infrequent but periodic seizures over the past couple years. I figured it was happening again and she was freaking out. I wasn't far, so I turned around and parked out front. Shit, the door is locked. I had gone out the garage. Run around to the side door. Also locked. Go around to garage. Fuck, the opener is in my car at the front of the house. Go around to the other side door, unlocked fortunately. Finally. While I know there's nothing I can really do, I know she is scared and needs me there with her for Dexter. I know the sense of urgency she would want me to have and am a little out of breath running all around the house trying to get back inside. Go inside, head to the bedroom. Wife is wide-eyed hugging our old boy for dear life. I walk in and start to ask how Dexter is doing. Someone is in the house. My adrenaline shoots through the roof. What the fuck? Why were you withholding this information until just now? I grab the bat I keep by the bed. Where are they? Well, I didn't see a person but a dog walked into our room and I assume someone brought them in. Wave of relief. That doesn't really make any sense. Did you hear a person walking around? No, I don't know, just go check it out. Second wave of relief. I check the whole house and no one is there, but I find a poor frightened dog hiding behind the washing machine in the room where our doggy door is. It wasn't a wild animal, definitely someone's pet at some point. But this poor animal is half-shaved, yes, half-shaved, and looks like a mess. What makes it even weirder is that it is not possible for a dog to just find itself in that part of our yard. It's a small narrow runner with tall fences on all sides and 2 locked gates. No sign of burrowing under anything. Our neighborhood has a gate and is not the kind of place people just wander into to drop dogs off in. All yards are very visible to a lot of other houses. So someone got in, then came to our front yard, opened our gate, and dropped their dog into a narrow runner full of dog poop and left without anyone noticing. There is a happy ending, because we got it groomed and fed and she was incredibly cute. An older lady down the street was overjoyed to get to take care of her and we see her often in the neighborhood now. A fox pissed on my couch. Came down one morning to find a peacock in the utility room that had got in to eat all the cat food. It stayed on our property for about 3 years and we called it Wazak. Yes. My boys found a bunny nest where they usually lay down in the yard in a flower bed. My 2 schnauzers found them, 12 in total, and it was a frantic panic to make sure none were injured. One fell into the pool and I rescued it. We rounded them up not really knowing what to do. Took some photos. Phoned animal control. They got back to us the next day and said it's best to put them back where they were. So we did that and fenced off the area for a week. The mum returned on the second day. It took about 2 weeks for them to leave my yard. My younger dog was pawing the nest several times before we knew it was there. None were hurt. We still see them scurrying around the neighborhood every now and then. Pick of bunnos.